everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be reviewing a used F-150 Lightning Lariat because, well, depreciation, just like on most EVs, has been pretty big, so you can get one of these for a really good price. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ed Kenley Ford here in Layton, Utah for giving me some time with this F-150 Lightning. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So let's start off by going over the EV specs. It looks like this one is the standard battery pack. So 98 kilowatt hour battery pack, 240 miles of driving range, still has a dual electric motor setup, producing mid 400s for the horsepower and almost 800 pound-feet of torque. If you get the extended range version of this, it's over 300 miles of range, and then it bumps up the horsepower to almost 570. Now, before we pop into the front trunk, I do mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content like this every single day. And the front trunk should open. Sesame. Well, the key fob's being angry at me, so I just used the popper here. But we've got this cool setup with a bunch of outlets here. In the front, you got a little light there. And yeah, it's pretty dang spacious. It's a good storage space, and we'll just use the button this time. But with the Lariat, you get the cool light bar on the front end, which definitely differentiates it. You can see the front end's all closed off because this is fully electric. And then the other thing is you've got these wheels that are a little bit more aerodynamic style. They're still somewhat open, but a little bit more aerodynamic style. And you notice with the body lines compared to a regular F-150, they're softer for aerodynamic efficiency. And you might think that this is a charging port. It's just a dud. The other side has the actual charging port. You've got fixed side steps here. And then something to note, independent front and rear suspension with this being fully electric. We, of course, have the Lightning logo there in the back. This one has a tonneau cover, which is pretty cool. And you got the giant light bar design here in the rear. And it's actually just a traditional truck bed. So they didn't really do anything crazy with that. And we'll take a look at the payload in just a moment. I'll just lift that up to be a little bit quicker, even though it's automated. And then the interior is just like a regular Lariat. You've got the same like door panel trim. The seats are a different coloration, but same kind of aesthetic and room. And that's one of the big things about the Lightning, right? Is it's not weird like some other EVs. Got blind spot monitoring, and payload's actually pretty good in the Lightning too. See 1854 this Lariat package. We'll quickly pop in. Full digital gauge cluster. So notice, pretty normal. It does show EV range and battery temp and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to, you know, stuff you see in the regular ICE truck. And they actually get a vertical tablet, which never been a fan of, but you know, it is what it is. 360 camera. With this, you've got heated and ventilated seats, dual zone climate, you've got navigation. Most everything is controlled on the screen, by the way, including, like if we pull this down for all the drive modes. You've got one pedal, which we'll actually turn that on. It's always a nice feature to have on. And then this center console area is pretty much the same as regular F-150. Like I said, with the seats, pretty similar. Glove box is a little bit different with the design, but still double glove box. We got the sunglass holder and all that. So you probably noticed, again, pretty similar to regular F-150, just electric powertrain. And now pricing. Now brand new, this would have been over $70,000. The electric pickup trucks are a little bit pricier compared to their gas counterparts. But regardless, used truck with about 10,000 miles on it, it's now almost $50,000. It's a little bit above $50,000, but I mean, that's basically the price of a brand new F-150 Lightning base model. Not even anymore, because the base models have gone up in price. So you're getting a Lariat for a lot less money. Let's drive it. So let's talk about visibility before we set off. It's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors. Put the rest of your, again, normal F-150 with everything. It's crazy, 9,800 miles. And to think people were paying over MSRP for these just a couple of years ago. Man, I wonder, like, some of these people that kept vehicles that paid over and have loans on them, it's got to be absolutely brutal. Like, I know of a person that bought a Model S Plaid, and they bought during the hype, took out a loan on it, and their loan on the car was like $180,000. And so now that car's worth maybe like 40, 50 grand. Just imagine. That's like a big honking down payment on a house. And it's gone because you decided to buy an electric car at the wrong time. And in my opinion, it's almost never the right time to buy an electric car. We'll leave that for a little bit later in the video though. But anyways, F-150 Lightning, it drives really well. It's got plenty of power being fully electric, right? Instant power, instant torque, and it's super smooth. You know, the suspension on the new F-150 in general is really comfortable, but this is even more comfortable than a stock F-150, and that's because of the independent rear suspension helps out quite a bit. And then the other thing that helps out quite a bit is the lack of leaf springs, right? The regular F-150 still uses leaf springs. This, you know, not having leaf springs, it helps out with the ride in the back, right? It stays nice and planted. So it's just a really comfortable ride. And, you know, it leads to kind of like a luxury car feel with the Lightning. I mean, the seats are comfortable. You got cooled seats. And yeah, you know, at $70,000, this isn't the most exciting interior, but now at like 50 grand, it's a bit more exciting if you ask me. Quite a bit more exciting. And yeah, it's just crazy. Like, this is, I mean, if you look at gas trucks, this is the price of like a brand new STX F-150. So base model with basically not a lot of options. A few, but not a lot. And we will does a little skirt thing. It's got power. It's got power and lots of torque. And so this, you know, for a truck, it's probably one of the most daily drivable trucks out there, just because of the power and the comfort and everything that it has got going for it. I don't know, I think it's really cool. That's cool, Heritage Edition. It's always fancy looking. But yeah, it's a nice rig. So, used F-150 Lightning. I think this could be pretty good. The one downside about this is I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this qualifies for any sort of tax credit, because EVs that are used have to be like sub $25,000 or something to have that little tax credit. And this isn't new, so you don't have any tax credit for new. So there is that. That's a little bit of a downside. But, I mean, again, you look at a brand new one and they're expensive. Ford's raised the prices, and, you know, there are incentives and everything that do help out. Still, the new ones are quite expensive. And so I think if you're not going to do, if you're just going to daily drive most of the time, and you live in an urban area where there's lots of charging, you don't have any issues with the charging side of things, this could be a pretty good truck. You know, as a used vehicle, it could be a pretty good runaround vehicle that you could do truck stuff with occasionally, as long as you don't have to go too far, right? It's always the downside. But I could see this as like a good, you know, A to B type vehicle if your commute's pretty short. So it'll be interesting to see what these do long term. But I imagine it's only more downhill from here, because the EV demand is just not there. Hybrid demand is there, so I'm sure we'll see more hybrids on the market. And so, yeah, these EVs, I don't think they're, some of them are going to be worthless, like the Teslas. Eventually, you're going to be basically just scrap metal. But something like this, that's got a little bit more utility, it'll still be worth something in the future. But it'll be interesting to see how cheap they end up getting, and then also the reliability of this long term, right? With the components, that'll be the hardest thing keeping these EVs on the road, is the battery replacement cost, the replacement cost of electric motors. You know, that stuff can get pretty pricey, and so, you know, I think a lot of cars will get totaled out because they'll need new battery. They'll need, right? So let me know what you guys think about the F-150 Lightning, and let me know if you think if this is a good, I like the camera thing's always there. Let me know if you think if this is a good used truck value, or would you rather just get a regular, you know, Lariat used with the EcoBoost engine? That's all.